Hello there and a very good evening from wherever you're watching as from. I trust that you had a lovely day. Time now for Look Up News. I'm Nancy Nalimo. Sign language interpreter is Felista Adundo. There's lots that we have lined up for you this evening, but first here are the top stories.
Tonight on Look Up News. Government allocates 300 million shillings to Mai Mahiu flood victims as DP Gachagua hosts memorial service for the 62 who lost their lives. KEMSA decries the ruled execution of primary mandate as county governments and Ministry of Health owes the authority 12 billion shillings in pending bills. And UDA party denies accusations by ODM party alleging planned chaos by the ruling party in Nyanza region.
Once more, welcome to the broadcast. The hashtag is Lookuptv at Lookuptv on Facebook, on X, and on our YouTube channel. Do stay with us as we bring you up to spirit stories that are making headlines today. Let's begin. The government has set aside 300 million shillings to help victims of the Mai Mahiu floods get new homes. This is according to Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, who spoke on Thursday while attending the funeral service of the departed next to the scene of the tragedy that left 61 people dead. The Department of Housing has been tasked to be ready to start construction of new homes for the 185 families displaced by the floods.
Ongea na huyu PS wetu wa housing. Tumekubaliana Department of Housing itatoa 300 million ya kuanza kujenga manyumba kwa hiyo shamba. So on top of that, ile ya Safaricom mulete, we must make sure that we settle these families because hiyo ni kazi ya Mungu and is the right thing to do. Sisi kama serikali kuu tumesaidia. Governor walikuja na MP, tukaongea na rais na tukatoa zaidi ya shilingi milioni 7 ya kusaidia hao familia kwenda kupumzisha wapenzi wao. So every family around here 150,000, wale wa mbali kidogo 200,000. Mambo ya barabara ya kutoka Mai Mahiu kwenda Kijabe. Tumekubaliana na waziri wa barabara Bwana Kipchumba Murkomen. We may not be able to put tarmac now, but we are going to grade and apply good gravel to the right standard.
You've done so much, you continue to do so much, and I cannot fail to thank you for all that you're doing, together with the other humanitarian groups, the AMREF, the World Health Organization, kwa zile madawa pia mumetupatia. It was a difficult time because the weather ni baridi, na tuko na watoto wengi, as you can see, that were affected, na pneumonia became an issue, plus other illnesses. Na the people wenye kwa kubebwa na maji pengine waligongwa and all that sort of stuff. So we thank you very, very much. I want to give a very special thank you to the Mai Mahiu Pastors Fellowship. You have really taken lead in this issue. You have done well. You have helped coordinate.
Floods continue to wreak havoc across the country, with the rains expected to subside in coming days. However, at least 3 people, including 2 school-going children, have lost their lives in different parts of the country. Sonia Njeri tells us more.
As heavy rains continue to be experienced in various parts of the country, thousands of Kenyans continue to feel the impact of the torrential rains. In Old Kijabe, the place where tragedy struck 10 days ago, residents are calling for more help from the government, with Michael Adkins from Kijabe Trusts noting that the residents are in dire need of food and machinery to clear out debris from the floods.
Wajafika hapa hivi Kijabe, wajakuja kuangalia the source kwenye maji kwenye ilikuwa imetoka na venye kulienda. So good, hakuna njia kutoka Kijabe kwenda anywhere or. Saizi hata mambo na food, sasa ni shida. Sasa asubuhi from like in 1 week, tumekuwa tumeenda kwa maduka, food so kwenye ilikuwa kwa maduka yote imeisha. Sasa unaenda kutafuta hadi maziwa hakuna food, hakuna unga na hakuna anything.
Elsewhere, residents of Njoro sub-county in Nakuru County were engaged in a search party for nearly 8 hours in an attempt to retrieve the bodies of 14-year-old Faith Chemweno and 12-year-old Mary Chepngetich. The 2 sisters were reportedly swept away by the raging waters of River Ndarugu in an attempt to cross over on their way to school. Their efforts have, however, proved futile as the bodies are yet to be recovered.
Na tukaendelea kutafuta hao watoto mpaka saa hii, alikuwa mwendo wa saa 12:30 mpaka saa hii tunaelekea saa 8 bado hiyo watoto hajapatikana.
Finally, a 37-year-old man has been swept away by flood waters while attempting to cross Kie River at Ogonye village in Murindoko Ward, Moya East Sub-County, Kirinyaga County. According to Togonye villagers, led by his cousin Joseph Murioki, the incident occurred last night while Gabriel Masharia Githai, aged 37, was attempting to cross the flooded river.
Tunatafuta kasini yangu ambaye ameenda na maji na hii mto wa Kie. Hii mto wa Kie sasa hata umebeba darasa yote ile ilikuwa imejengwa hapa na MC yetu ile tumechagua anaitwa Kabireti. Huko wengine wako pande ya juu na wengine wako pande ya chini, tunaendelea na kumtafuta. Tunataka sasa serikali tusaidie, tuletee driver, tuone kama itatusaidia tupate mwili wetu.
Sonia Njeri, Lookuptv.
The United Democratic Alliance has told off Azimio leader Raila Odinga over claims of destabilizing opposition-led counties. Led by Secretary General Cleopas Malala, the ruling party rubbished Odinga's claims, calling on the state governors to stop cheap politics and focus on service delivery.
We would have easily ignored the opposition statements as another of those grudging and bitter sentiments they give when political tides are not flowing their way, except that they went to adversely accuse us, the UDA party, and members of the executive, that is CS Ezekiel Machogu, CS for Education, CS Alfred Mutua, CS for Tourism, and PS Raymond Omolo, PS for Interior, of gross allegations that we feel cannot go unchallenged. For us, we are challenging the ODM party to substantiate the allegations, which on the face of things seems unfounded. The ODM sentiment is full of wild and unsubstantiated claims against 3 senior government officials. ODM is seeing enemies in the 3 where there are none. Indeed, we are urging the cabinet secretaries and PS Dr. Raymond Omolo to ignore these unusual ramblings from the ODM party and continue serving the public without fear or favor. The loud cry by the ODM party resonates well with their own characteristics, where they whine every time they feel threatened in their so-called political base. The Orange Democratic Party has outlived its usefulness in the country and especially in the larger Nyanza region.
And back to the floods, the Senate Standing Committee on Energy has raised concerns over the overflowing of the Seven Forks Dam. Led by Nyeri Senator Wahome Wamatinga, the committee wants the government to construct a new dam to avert any impending danger.
The Senate Standing Committee on Energy has issued a statement regarding the recent overflow of the Seven Forks dams utilized by Kenya for electricity generation and the untold damage to human and property and the proposed measures to mitigate such occurrences in future. Despite increased human activities around dams that have stood for more than 3 decades and have now reached their full capacity, there has been no initiation of a new dam construction. The committee, through the chair Senator Wahome Wamatinga, strongly urged the government to fast-track the construction of High Grand Force Dam, a crucial project that will not only mitigate the severe impact of floods but also add about 700 megawatts of affordable electricity to the national grid.
We as the members of the Senate Standing Committee on Energy would like to make a statement on the overflowing of the Seven Forks Dam used by Kenyan to generate electricity in the country due to the ongoing heavy rains. The impact of the climate change globally has led to severe droughts and flooding. Kenya has not been spared. The population living on the downstream of the dams have repeatedly suffered from this flood. The question that we now ask ourselves, what will be the long-term measures? As stopgap measure, the committee is persuaded to believe that the raising of the wall, the weir wall of the Masinga Dam by over 1 meter will delay the overflowing of the water downstream. However, this is only a short-term strategy and a permanent solution would be to construct a bigger dam downstream.
Senator William Kipsang echoed similar sentiments, emphasizing that the construction of a larger and more efficient dam will boost food production in the lower Tana region.
With the construction of High Grand Falls Dam, basically it means our people on the lower side of Tana River, Kilifi and Lamu, we are going to sort out food security because we are going to do irrigation on the lower side. So basically, government is going to do two things. Food security will be guaranteed because of irrigation. Number two, the cost of power will come down. So that is what we are saying as a matter of urgency, and we are asking also Gengen, because they're the ones who are running these dams, to budget and put in resources every year to maintain the dams by desilting instead of sleeping on the job.
Elsewhere, counties in the Ministry of Health have been directed to pay debts owed to the Kenya medical supplier KEMSA, amounting to a whopping 12 billion shillings in total within the next 2 months, failure to which KEMSA has been urged to cease supplying drugs to the respective entities. Stanley Lugaria followed the session by the Oversight Committee as it seeks to address some of the challenges faced by the medical supplier in delivering its mandate.
If somebody owes you at a personal level, if somebody owes you an amount of money, they cannot come to you to borrow again. In fact, you cannot even listen to them. If they have not paid you what they owe you, of course you cannot lend them more.
Narok Senator Ledama Olekina has slammed both levels of government, with counties registering debts and pending bills in the region of 3 billion shillings, as well as the national government through the Ministry of Health, which owes KEMSA at least 1.4 billion shillings.
The proposal is as follows. Any county that owes 30 days and above, KEMSA should stop supplying the medicine until payment is made in full. We've not even looked at what the national government owes. It's a lot. You know?
There's question two.
Yeah, we're going to the question two.
KEMSA CEO insists that the debts have derailed the execution of primary mandates, such as the supply of drugs brought about as a result of pending bills, with the committee faulting KEMSA for issuing more debts even before previous debts were settled.
We have been engaging the National Treasury, the control of budget, and sometimes some of these things, whereas they are not anchored in law, we engage the office of the National Treasury at disbursement to tell counties that we will not disburse your next disbursement if you don't pay KEMSA. They get that feedback.
The Senate Committee on Health on Thursday met with the CEO KEMSA Andrew Mulwa to deliberate on Nandi Senator Samson Cherargei's remarks on bills owed to government medical supplier by both counties and the Ministry of Health.
My proposal, Chair, before you rule before the answer and then you rule so that we make progress, I know in the interest of time, we need those details of the debt collectors. How much have they collected and how much are you spending on them?
30 days because of exchequer and whatever, let's take 90 days. Beyond 90 days is when they will stop.
I have a challenge with that, Madam Chair.
Yes.
We'll tell them, these counties, unless they pay KEMSA their money, do not release any money for them to pay the other secondary suppliers.
Stanley Lugaria, Lookuptv, Nairobi.
We take a very short break here on the program. So much more on the other side, including Africa Fertilizer and Soil Summit.
Ukulima ni mali na Manjoro. Kumbuka hapa ndipo unajifunza mambo mengi kuhusu ukulima. Kilimo ni uti wa mgongo wa nchi, na ukiwa na Njoro unajifunza. Kumbuka, angalia mwenyewe. Tunakuambia ukitaka kujua tips za ukulima, ungana na sisi kwenye Lookuptv every Sunday. Unatukuta pale saa 10, tunakuonesha kuhusu ukulima wa mimea, ukulima wa ng'ombe, ukulima wa kuku, ukulima wa mbuzi na yote ambayo yanahusiana na ukulima. Kumbuka nini? Kipindi ni ukulima ni mali.
Are you an SME looking for a media partner? Look no more, as Lookuptv got you covered for all your visibility and marketing needs. We at Lookuptv understand your business needs and want to work with you on your marketing journey, giving you solutions that will take you to the next level. Call us today on 0707 572 358 or send an email to sales@lookuptv.co.ke and kickstart this amazing journey. Welcome to Lookuptv, your official SME media partner.
Welcome back. Thank you so much for staying with us. Nancy Nalima here and Felista Adundo on the sign language interpretation. Let's continue. Mining, Blue Economy and Maritime Affairs CS Salem Mvurya has urged architects and engineers to be vigilant amid the rising cases of collapsed buildings. Speaking during the official opening of the seminar for the Quantity Surveyors and Board of Architects at Safari Park Hotel, Nairobi, Mvurya added that designing infrastructure with climate change approach will help avert similar tragedies.
The CS for Mining, Blue Economy and Maritime Affairs CS Salem Mvurya urged architects and engineers to follow standards to avert the collapsing of buildings with a recent case from Uthiru, Nairobi.
Very unfortunate, the Uthiru incident where a building came down. And part of the discussion that the board, the architects are doing is also to look at, the standards. And of course, they don't work alone. There are also engineers involved, and it is an important issue which I'm sure the chairman is here, they will be discussing.
CS Salem Mvurya says the ongoing heavy rains and flooding in various parts of the country call for great care to avoid possible dangers.
Even as we design infrastructure within the blue economy spectrum, we also take cognizance that we are now in a world that we cannot predict our climate change.
He further noted that the government has set aside 1.4 billion to invest in the blue economy to make land infrastructure for ease of access in areas of the Indian Ocean, Lake Victoria, Naivasha and Turkana counties.
In Lake Victoria, we are doing landing sites. In Busia, we've already done Mulukoba, but we are also doing Bumbe. We've done Wichlum in Siaya, but we also do Asembo and Wichlum. We've done Luanda Kotieno. We are also doing Ogala and Asat in Kisumu. In Homa Bay, we are doing Nyandhiwa, Mainuga and Wakula, and then Migori, we are doing God Kochola and Sori.
Mvurya added that the long-term activities of tree planting will be crucial in mitigating climate-related disasters.
Long-term activities also of making sure that you design the infrastructure with climate change in mind is also very critical. And also the opportunity to design infrastructure that also harnesses the opportunities in solar and many others.
John Matava, Lookuptv.
President William Ruto has urged African leaders congregating in Nairobi for the Africa Fertilizer and Health Summit to pursue avenues of producing fertilizer using locally available material to enhance food security in the continent while reducing on imports. President Ruto has underscored the enormous potential that lies in agriculture to spur economic renaissance in the country.
Responsible for Foreign Affairs and Agriculture who are congregating for this year Africa Fertilizer and Soil Health Summit, President Ruto has implored the African states to tap into the huge potential vested in its vast pieces of uncultivated land to spur economic development.
Soil health and fertilizer is important because Africa has 60% of the world's uncultivated arable land. That potential is immense, and unlocking that potential is central to our economic growth, because unlocking that potential not only gives us an opportunity to feed our people and this continent, but also it gives us an opportunity for us to engage in agro-processing, value addition, manufacturing with agro-based raw materials.
President Ruto has additionally urged the continent to work towards securing affordable, quality and accessible fertilizers through local manufacturing, insisting smart agriculture will guarantee the continent food security while creating job opportunities for millions of residents.
And among the assets we have is our agricultural potential. It is therefore important in this meeting for us to address fertilizer availability, production of fertilizer using locally available raw materials in our continent.
Africa currently spends billions of dollars in food and fertilizer imports per year. Greater efforts must be made to leverage the availability of raw materials for the local production of mineral fertilizers and reduce our over-resilience and reliance on imports.
President Ruto has called on the African states to pursue a common strategy to spur enormous economic development in agriculture.
I stand here to make a very strong case for a common strategy, collective action, joint investment and logistical collaboration to ensure every arable acre of Africa's land receives the right type and quantity of fertilizer.
The summit, which began on 7th of this year, comes to an end today. Ebi Kadenyi, Lookuptv.
Investors on Thursday launched the first ever Africa-China Economic and Trade Expo in the continent as it seeks to open business avenues between the African continent and China. The expo aims to bolster investments and trade between China and Africa by highlighting innovative achievements, fostering economic and trade cooperation.
Historical one, as has been said by our Cabinet Secretary.
Yes, we are here for the China-Africa Economic and Trade Expo. These expos have been held previously, but never in Africa. This is the first time it is being held in Africa, and they have chosen Kenya as the destination. This sends a very strong message that Kenya is actually the gateway to Africa. And this expo is discussing Africa-China cooperation, the opportunities that are available. We have seen that Africa has a lot of benefits and a lot of advantages for trade and even trading with China.
Kenya National Chamber of Commerce are looking at the business opportunities that we have in China with a population of 1.3 billion with a GDP of $18 trillion. We saw it fit for us to be able to reduce the balance of trade between Kenya and China And therefore, through that office, we've been able to export goods worth 174 million in the last 6 months. And equally, also, we are looking at attracting Kenyan companies to establish themselves in China, especially in terms of warehousing, in terms of marketing Kenyan products in China.
You have seen just in the last 1 week how many heads of states have been in Nairobi. Last week about 10. Currently as we speak we have about 7 at KICC, and Kenya and Nairobi specifically is becoming that hub for not only discussions but making of deals and investment attraction.
We have signed a deal for cold chain solutions for supporting our farmers in the Lake region in aggregation as well as provision of post-harvest infrastructure, as our farmers in the aquaculture industry lack the solution for post-harvest infrastructure. We've been able to sign a deal for that the company will be able to help us set up in the whole Lake region the cold chain solutions.
What amount?
And on the Business Watch, members of Parliament have challenged national government to enhance digital hubs across the country as youth from Kirinyaga share their successful stories after turning to online jobs to earn a living amid the high unemployment rate. Through a Jira digital program, thousands of youth have enrolled through the initiatives and are now reaping benefits from online jobs.
The committee led by Dagoretti North MP Beatrice Elachi has been going through the country to assess the current status of digital hubs amid calls for the government to invest more in digital hubs across the country.
When you look at the Act 25(2)(a), we decided now to agree that the Constituency Development Fund can assist the different hubs that we have in terms of paying the current expenditures that they face, which was a challenge before. So the challenges of internet, the challenges of having desktops, the challenges of even having, at least in Kirinyaga you have the hub, but the president is insisting that you must take it to the wards.
Elsewhere, the National Assembly Committee for Trade is set to undertake public participation on the new cooperatives bill. The bill is set to overlook the management and enhance proper governance. According to Gishungu, Member of Parliament Gishumu Givinji, the new bill will reduce poor management and embezzlement of farmers' money.
Expect that upon the passage of this bill into act, governance issues will be a thing of the past. The mismanagement, the embezzlement of funds, and we know many cooperative societies across the country who have been masquerading as a genuine cooperative society, but some have been pyramids that have been swindling people.
In other news, the Ministry of Health proposal to include graphic health warnings on smokeless nicotine products continues to elicit mixed reactions from various stakeholders amid opposition to the move by the tobacco industry.
Specifically on combustible cigarettes, we are supportive of graphic health warnings. All we're saying is that the graphic health warnings that are applied or are being proposed need to be factual, need to be evidence-based. Need to be evidence-based. So provided those parameters are met, we don't have any issue on graphic health warning on cigarettes. However, when you look at the novel products, we believe that some of the graphic health warnings being proposed do not recognize the science of the product and the risk profile of those products.
Martin Masharia, Lookuptv.
Gloria Kagonya, Lookuptv.
Kilifi Governor Gideon Mung'aru has lauded the efforts by the Intergovernmental Relations Technical Committee, IGRTC, in its efforts to implement the 10th Summit resolution to finalize on the transfer of devolved functions and assets that were assigned to devolved units. Jasmine Minor with that and more in our news wrap.
For over 10 years in the implementation of devolution in the country, Kilifi County becomes one of the first countries to receive valuation reports on land, buildings and motor vehicles. Kilifi Governor Mung'aru says will enable the county to clean its asset register to safeguard county properties that have been attracting land grabbers, which include the county social service and veterinary land at a cost of 700 million, where the county was forced to demolish illegal structures by individuals purporting to have ownership documents.
Shukuru sana kwa hii kamati ambayo mnajua iliundwa ya kuhakikisha kwamba inadumisha uhusiano mwema baina ya serikali kuu na serikali za kaunti. Tulipoingia katika county 2022 tulipata kwamba kuna hizi gap sana, na tulipokuwa na summit mwaka jana mwezi wa pili, rais akaamuru kwamba tumalize hizi vitu za kurudisha zile vitu za county, iwe magari, iwe mashamba, iwe zile sheria za county ambazo hazijarudi kwa county.
Elsewhere, the spiritual organizations have initiated a caravan to preach peace in the larger Kisii County. The initiative by Evangelical Alliance of Kenya and Kisii Pastors Clergy Forum seeks divine intervention over current political squabbles, natural disasters, death through road accidents and floods that have wreaked havoc across the country. Speaking during the launch in Kisii Town, the Secretary of EAK, Pastor Charles Isaboke, lamented on the tribulations Kenyans went through, including the death toll that has risen.
Kutembea, kuongea na wananchi, kuongea na Wakristo na kuongea na viongozi wa serikali kwamba amani ya muhimu sana. Kisii County tumeona tumeona vita vikiinuka kati ya wanasiasa, na hiyo kama kanisa tunakemea na pia kuomba kwamba amani na dumu. Lengo letu kubwa ni kwamba amani kwa wanasiasa, amani kwa national government, amani kwa county government na amani iwe kwa wananchi wa kawaida.
Reporting from Lookuptv, Jasmine Maina.
Let's now get sporty. Kenya Brewers Limited has announced renewal of partnership with the annual Rhino Cup Charge, a motorsport event dedicated to raising funds for environmental conservation. White Cup will sponsor 3 teams participating in the 2024 Rhino Charge, reaffirming its commitment to environmental sustainability. The Rhino Charge 2024 tournament will take place on June 1st in Kajiado County. The partnership comes in the wake of the company's active position in championing sustainable impact throughout all its brands.
We are inspired by the natural world on this brand. And I often look at these mountains in real life and every single day in the office on the front of the labels, and I think we need to create a future that makes sure that those white caps do stay on top of Mount Kenya, snow-capped mountains on the equator. And the only way that we can do that is by holding hands with people like the Rhino Arc charity to make sure that we put the systems in place to conserve our water, to protect our vital water catchment areas for now and for the future. So we have a really shared interest in the natural world. As I said, we can't get away from it on the labels on the front of our bottle.
The Rhino Arc Charitable Trust has had a good track record of conservation. We know the work that they've been able to do with the Aberdares, which is a critical water source for us as a brewery, and also the Mount Kenya conservation as well. We are extremely proud of this partnership with Rhino Charge, because it exists to conserve something that's particularly important to our business, which is water catchment areas. Without these areas and ecosystems within them, we cannot continue to manufacture the brands that we use. And we also know that it's not nature that needs us, it's us who need the nature.
In an exciting UEFA Europa League showdown tonight, Bayer Leverkusen will face off AS Roma, while Atalanta will take on Marseille. Both matches are scheduled to kick off at 10 p.m. The first leg match between Atalanta and Marseille ended in a 1-1 draw, setting the stage for an intense rematch tonight at the Arena Stadium. Meanwhile, AS Roma will be looking to turn the tables on Bayer Leverkusen after suffering a 2-0 defeat in the first leg, where Leverkusen emerged victorious. It is worth noting that AS Roma was the home team in the previous encounter. Thank you so much for being part of this broadcast this evening. I am now Sinelima. Our sign language interpreter has been Felista Adundo. Let's keep engaging across all our social media platforms at Lookuptv on X, Lookuptv on Facebook, and Lookuptv on our YouTube channel. You can also keep up with the latest on the headlines at www.lookuptv.co.ke. Keep it right here on Lookuptv and have yourselves a pleasant evening. Good night.